All right. So, hello, world. Today, I am super excited about chatting with Carrie, also named Carissa. And thank you so much for your time, Carrie. Say hi to the world.
Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So, I'm so excited to chat with you about self love and fashion and beauty and everything else in between. So, you are a fashion designer and you're a stylist, and you've been recently getting into interior design. And so, why don't you just share with the world a little about yourself and, your business ventures and how that all ties in with, confidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, everybody knows how much I've been into fashion. Those who have followed me from since elementary school to high school, I started out really putting together pieces that are like vintage pieces. I used to go to thrift stores and I used to just enjoy. Actually, it all started from dressing up for church. How I grew up very religious and whatnot. I'm not super religious now, but I mean, I'm still into my faith, but I'm more a bit liberal. But I really enjoyed growing up dressing for church, and that's where it really started. And so my father, he grew up learning from his mother how to sew and whatnot. And you know, when I learned that, I realized, okay, this is really something that is deeply rooted in, our family roots.
Mhm.
And so it started out me actually starting out in fashion styling, dabbling in that, becoming a dresser to the models for New York Fashion Week for several seasons. Also interning at a PR company. The PR company in particular that I was interning at for a short while was Factory PR. So we focused a lot on fashion events, fashion parties, fashion shows. And so I was always behind the scenes, um, getting to know fashion brands and whatnot. And that's really where I started. I really started out in events, event planning, styling, and dressing models, and all that back of house work. I started out that way. And when I graduated from college, which what I ended up pursuing communication, which I do love to communicate, but that I didn't really go in like intending to start with communication. I started with something else, like a lot of people do. They kind of pivot. But when I graduated from college, that's when I started gaining a lot more experience um, in fashion, interning and volunteering. And, as I got older, I started to realize it was really developing into design. And so I had my background in styling, and then I felt like it added more, like design became a thing that just added to it's my repertoire or it's just that thing that I grew to love, grew to discover about myself, that I had some sort of talent there. People would tell me I had an eye for design, my like my eye for color and texture and shapes. Like people would see that. I've put together my own fashion shows in the past. I have been asked to be a designer when a designer is featured in a fashion show with other designers. And that was a great experience as well too. And I just felt like my life was never a straight path. It was just it was just a path of it just always just kept like it just kept unfolding itself, and at times I did feel very frustrated, like where's my life going? What am I really, doing in fashion? Why is it taking so long to get to where I want to go, as a fashion designer, as a stylist? Um, but then that's when I felt like I needed to do a lot of the work, but a lot of soul searching in myself. What is it that I want? Who am I? what are some of my skills, like, and what is the life that I see for myself. And
Mm,
so, I felt, to me, I didn't want to be on a journey of just, I love beautiful clothes and I'm designing or I'm styling people. And that's well and great. And, clothes could make you feel beautiful.
right.
And once you are comfortable in your clothes, like that really does shine through.
Hmm.
Though I didn't want my life to just be about, oh, it's just beautiful clothes. This is where I felt like I wanted something deeper there. And so it kind of like unfolded in, you know, interest in self-love, getting to know more of the self, focusing on like mental health and like caring for yourself better.
Hmm.
And this is where it eventually developed into me hosting my own panel discussions on self-love and mental health, and pairing up with other boss babes, as I like to call them, other entrepreneurs, and having conversations. I always loved dialogue. And so having conversations with other, entrepreneurs, other women in particular, about finding what does work-life balance look like,
Hmm.
talking about therapy, talking about um, the things that kind of seem to some people negative, like people shy away from therapy, and or religion. How does religion, how does your faith, take mental health? Do we talk about it enough? Do we, are we educated about it? And so these are things that I started to discover, and I love that I always had that fire in me to create that space for people to be open and to talk. And that's where I am today. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I love it. So you basically have this evolving sense of self. And you actually see, I think a lot of times people are like, well, I am going to do this. And then they just, like you said earlier, like, it ends up being just about like the pretty clothes or just the this or the that. And then they think like they're just supposed to know it all or just supposed to know how to get there. And the reality is we don't. We don't always know
Mhm.
like what that path is, because you said it's like continually unfolding and you actually had to take time and discover your talents. And I think people think, oh, I'm supposed to just automatically be good at something, but maybe it's something that's small that you have to realize, right, that you're good at,
Mhm. Absolutely.
and then you work on developing it, because even now you're developing new talents
Mhm.
you didn't really share that much about, but like now you're like even broadening more into the interior design
Mhm.
space.
Yeah, which is very exciting. Well, at the time when you're really going through and trying to figure out, who am I, what
Hmm.
am I doing in my life, and it could be frustrating at times. Maybe you're constantly getting jobs that don't fulfill you, which happened to me. Putting myself and my energy into jobs that, I'm just making money to pay bills and, like do things for myself, but not feeling fulfilled, not feeling like I'm using those skills. Of course, ultimately, I always said, I want to become a full-time entrepreneur or whatnot. But I knew before even getting there, even being able to do those things that I truly love full-time, I had to find like the jobs or whatnot that truly fulfilled me or got me to that point or helped me develop those skills more that will make me a better business owner, yeah, as you touched on, me learning, having to learn new skills like in interior design, which is something I've picked up. I want to say now, about a year ago, I I don't know, set my, like, I had a thought about it in my mind,
Hmm.
and I was like, I don't know, this could be something that I could really work for me,
Hmm.
career wise. And now in my life, I call it like a bonus career. I call interior design a bonus career. I'm not neglecting the fashion. The fashion is here, and the goal ultimately I see is, while I'm gaining that experience in my day job in interior design and in home styling and all that, I am developing those skills so that I can actually build the successful business that I want, which I realize the business that I really am trying to build for myself is one that involves fashion styling, fashion designing, and interior design.
Mm,
Like, I learned that you don't have to pick one specific thing. Your business doesn't have to be one specific thing, because I've had advice from other people, and people mean well, and people are only going to tell you what they think is best, but I've had people advise me on just focus on one thing and do really well at that and then develop something else later. But there are tons of people out there who feel like they have multiple skills,
mhm.
and maybe within the same field, or maybe very similar to each other. So it's interesting how, like, fashion and interior design, they're not too far apart from each other, styling and design. Like, some of the skills you need from fashion design, you need some of those skills in interior design.
Right.
Of course, it's from, you know, constructing clothing for the body to constructing spaces like, homes and, whether residential or commercial spaces, but I'm seeing that it's possible to do all of the above. And I'm seeing that, for me personally, it makes sense to have it all gel together.
Yes. Well, I think that it's because as humans, we're complex. We don't have just like one side or one
Yeah.
aspect of our personality. So to try to make someone fit into like one little pigeonhole, so to speak, or one little
Mhm.
aspect of themselves and just live there for the rest of their lives, it's like,
Mhm.
well, what happened to the rest of me? Why is that not good enough? So that actually leads me to talking, wanting you to share a little bit about your thoughts, um, because we do have to love ourselves, right? We want to like not just love half of ourselves or a fraction, like we are a whole package. And so, how do you define love? And how do you define even self love? Like, what are the connections? Are there differences? Are there overlaps? You know, how does that all go about into making the whole person?
It's a very complex question.
It is. I think I asked you
Yeah,
like 10 questions
it
in
could be
one.
simple. It could be simple. Is also very complex.
Yeah.
How define love? That's what you said.
Like, how do you define love, self love? How does it all relate together for you? Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little religious here, where of course how I was raised. I was raised. Love starts from, like, God's love for you. Because he created us,
Mhm.
whatnot. And I do believe that, God's love is, or how we define that is even very complex. Can't
Right.
even really can't really even explain God's love for us, because that's so complex in and of itself. But after that, to me, I see it as getting in tune with yourself, like
Mm,
who you are. And it takes years to really discover who you are, who you becoming. You change, you morph, you shift, and but every step of the way, like, I feel like there are moments you could really get in tune with yourself, who you are, because you could focus so much on, I'm God's child, God loves me, but who are you?
right.
And I feel like the two together is so important, because there are some people who focus so much on God loving them and God's love, but some of those people don't know who they are.
Right.
They're not how I say, in tune with their self themselves. And I feel like how they say, You know, how can you love someone else if you don't even know how to love yourself?
Right.
It's true because, and even not even delving into like, um, okay, well, relationships in general, like,
Hmm.
you know, everybody has different personalities, you know, and you can, like, you can get to know someone,
Hmm.
but you know, you always have to know yourself as well too,
Yes.
you know. And as I said, this is a complex matter, but love really, or so it starts from self-love. It starts from really truly getting to know yourself, doing the work on yourself, getting in tune with you and what makes you happy, what makes you, like, all the things that make up you, you know.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, or that's where you start.
Yeah, I agree. And actually you said God's love is very complex. So it says like he knows how many hairs we have on our head. So
Hmm.
that means that he actually knows us really well. I mean, I don't know how many hairs I have on my head
Hmm.
right now. Do you?
No.
Like, no, like how many eyebrow hairs do we have, right? But
That's
he
not-
knows these things. So like, yeah, it's like, oh, well, God loves me, but then you don't even know what that means. So you have to get to know yourself to even understand that.
Mhm.
And then,
And also, and
yeah,
I feel also in getting to know yourself, this is how you relate better with other people.
yes.
Yeah.
Because if we're having mean self-talk, one of the I interviewed a fashion filmmaker,
Hmm.
Surah Kadane, and or Kadani, sorry, I always mess her last name up. But
Hmm.
she called it being your self friend. So if we're not our self friend, right, and we're not talking nicely to ourselves, how are we going to talk to our friends nicely or our partners nicely or our coworkers
Exactly.
nicely? Like
Exactly.
we're going to be so used to having that like rough dialogue that it's going to come out rough to other people. Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree. It has to start from inside. So, how does self love actually connect with our beauty?
Hmm.
Yeah.
How does self-love connect with our beauty?
Yes.
I love that question. I do. I've never been asked that. That
Oh,
way.
that's
That
why
way.
that's why I wanted to do these interviews. I wanted to have people start thinking about it a little differently. Yeah.
Um. Okay. I want to give a scenario. Well, an experience that
Okay.
I had. In my early 20s, well, actually now I just turned 30. So
Yay! Happy new
I'm
decade.
thank you, thank
Congratulations.
you. Yeah, which is a whole new now new space in my life I'm going into. But in my early 20s, I um I felt a lot. There was a time that I was wearing makeup a lot, right?
Mm,
And now there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup. You know, there are times I still love to wear makeup, or it makes you look more polished, or you get to express your creative side more. You know, there are many reasons to wearing makeup. But I realized at that time that I was wearing makeup so much to cover up blemishes, to make myself look older, because I have a young looking face. Like, I do not look my age at all,
yes.
you know. And it was a time that I just felt like I was a bit insecure about looking really young, you know,
Mhm.
younger than my age, and was insecure about blemishes, and
Mhm.
feeling like I equated it's like putting on makeup as, okay, now I look really beautiful,
Mm.
you know? And I had to check myself on that when I realized, like it was becoming a bit of an issue for me personally, you know. I was, of course, I was going to church, like wearing makeup a lot and whatnot, but I started to question behind that. What's going on behind that? You know, is it so wrong if one day I don't? wear makeup to church, like would I be looking ugly? Like would I, no, and now I'm like, no, because it's so funny. Now I hardly wear makeup to be honest, because I feel so comfortable not wearing it. And also I feel lazy to not have to sit down and put on makeup. It's a combination of things. I'm more comfortable with myself and how my face look and how I feel. But back then I struggled with feeling like I had to always put on makeup.
Yeah.
I was sometimes going to work in makeup, and it's like it's certain jobs you don't really need it. And I didn't really need it per se, because without it, I looked perfectly fine. I didn't have any dark, like really dark circles underneath my eyes or nothing. I had
Yeah.
it works to your advantage when you have a very young face,
Yeah.
that you really don't really need to wear it, but it was a mental thing for me. And I challenged myself to not wear makeup for a month or so,
Okay.
to go to church and like not wear makeup for a month. And I did it, and I was like, wow, I did that. And I felt so comfortable. And I felt like after the fact, of course, after the fact, I've worn makeup many times,
Right.
but to me, it was a shift in my mind that it's okay to wear it, and it's okay when I don't feel like wearing it.
Yes.
So you could switch it up. I like people seeing my natural state. This is my face. And then when I wear the makeup, it's like, okay, like you look really nice. Like it's, like, but that was my self-love journey. I had to ask myself a lot of questions, and, you know, do the work of like asking myself, why am I doing this too much? And I never wanted to do certain things too much, that it was a crutch, or
Right.
whatnot. And so I had to check myself on that. And I'm glad I did, because I kind of do whatever feels comfortable to me. I don't really, yeah, but the makeup thing was an example of the beauty thing to me, because we do equate that to beauty,
We do. Yeah.
yeah,
Especially
wearing
in
makeup, looking good. Yeah, and so there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup. I love makeup. I love how I look in makeup, and I love when a professional makeup artist does my makeup.
Yes.
And I love learning better ways to do my own makeup too.
Mhm.
Because you can't always hire someone to do your makeup, whether because they're not available, or maybe you don't have the money to do it, or you need to just do something quick and just go.
Right.
So it's great, I think, ultimately, to have options, to be able to wear it or not to wear it. Um, yeah, that was just an example about beauty and self-love to me, and kind of checking myself on that.
So basically, the self love and beauty goes together with the comfort level of being natural, just being you,
Hmm.
or however else you want to be. But essentially, you learned how to be comfortable without the makeup. Before, you were only comfortable in one aspect of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That's beautiful. So I had a similar thing where I um went for several months without wearing eye makeup. I used mascara, but like my insecurity was I have like veins on my eyelids.
Okay.
And so I just went for months without I did lipstick, I did mascara, but I felt like I was not supposed to be wearing makeup on my eyes. And I remember like the first day I walked out without any eye makeup, like covering the veins on my eyelids. I felt naked. I felt like everyone was staring at me. And then I met up with someone for coffee. And the first thing he commented on was the veins in my eyelids. I was like, oh my gosh, people are really staring. But then he made it as a compliment. So I don't know what to think. But yeah, and then I just got over it.
And then beauty, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I think I really feel that there are a lot of people that do see like your bare skin and whatnot is that's beautiful. It's
Yeah,
beautiful that you have that confidence to do that, you
yeah,
know, whenever you feel like it.
yeah.
And it's just, yeah, it's just beautiful when you're able to choose what you
Yeah,
want. You know, people equate, of course, hair to beauty as well too.
yes,
Choose to do with your hair, do you choose to wear it in its natural state or not?
yes,
And whatever, I think whatever you choose to do, I think as long as you check yourself on it and like make sure like it's not a crutch for you or like
yeah,
just do a healthy check on yourself.
yes,
Anybody. That's just how I see
yes, for whatever it happens to be. Yeah,
it. Mhm.
makeup, anything else, even like nice clothes, right?
Exactly.
Even be such. Like if
Yeah.
my shoes are not $600 minimum, I'm not cute or I'm not worth it. Different things that people may be using as a crutch, like you said.
Hmm. But
So,
I think, oh, I was just gonna say, I think this is where people need to continue seeing positive images of people they admire. When you
mm,
see somebody you admire, and it's like, what they're I don't know. Let's say if clothes is your issue, you buy really expensive clothes all the time, or you see somebody you admire and you're like, listen, I go to Zara, I go to this brand, and I buy certain things, and this is how I make it look luxe, and that could inspire that person to be like, you know what? I like what they're doing. It's possible. Look how beautiful they look. They don't have to spend so much money to feel like good enough.
mm,
That's why we need to continue to
yeah,
see positive images of people.
yeah. So yes, I agree. It does help, which is one of the reasons why I was like, let me interview Carrie. I want to chat with her because you always do, look comfortable in your photos. Like you always look like you're enjoying and having fun and whatever you're posing in. And you usually have different looks. So it's like it's not every day everyone's always comfortable, in their own skin, in their own clothing, whatever. So, yeah. So,
Trust me, it's taken a long time for me to be comfortable in my own skin, you know, to just try things, try new pieces, new styles. And I don't shy away from that. When I put on pieces or I create pieces, I instantly just know what feels good and what looks good.
mm,
Sometimes it's don't knock it till you try it. You see a style that's really nice. You can automatically say that's not gonna look good on me, but you could try it on and it looks amazing. You feel great.
yes.
Just try it. Sometimes people like to just shut things down. Like, and easily that can happen, being a stylist, like bringing pieces to someone and they're like, I know that's not going to look good on me. I'm just not going to, what you got to just sometimes be open. Sometimes I say just try it. You never know what's going to work,
Yeah.
and yeah. And no, I love that you say you see me and I look so comfortable in what I wear. And honestly, it's just because I just like fashion or style like makes me happy. I'm able to express myself. You
Mm,
know, I'm able to like for me, I'm very big on versatility. So, switching it up. I dress based off of where I'm going, what I'm doing, sometimes the weather, all these factors I think about.
yeah.
I want to feel comfortable and I want to look, I don't know, luxurious or whatnot, or as that's my favorite word is chic. You always want to look chic. So so for me, it's just I I look comfortable. I'm happy because I love what I'm wearing and I will never wear something that's or put something out there that I just feel uncomfortable wearing. I just try to be as authentic as possible, even with my clothing selections.
Mm.
like fashion or like style is really about self-expression.
Yeah.
It should be fun.
Yes.
So I'm glad that that's your experience of me and
I've
seeing me
seen
on
this
social
social
media.
media. So, and we've never met in person, so I don't know. It's
Mhm.
just the impression, and so yeah. But it's nice because sometimes people don't always look comfortable in what they're wearing, and what I see the opposite sometimes.
You
So
cannot fake the funk. You really
you
can't.
cannot fake the funk, no. So like, how do you get there? And that's curious, and sharing with people that you got there not overnight, but it's been a process, and you weren't always comfortable, and you've learned that I think is helpful to know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what are some of your tips? I think you've spoken a little bit about it, but for maintaining, so that you're not up one day like, yes, okay, I'm doing it, and then the next day despondent about yourself, and then the next day like middle of the road, and then like that roller coaster. So how do you uh think, or what are your thoughts on keeping a positive sense of self, like a positive identity, and feeling comfortable, like maintaining it, you know
First and foremost, giving yourself grace.
mm.
I have to constantly say that to myself. Give yourself some grace. Like a very close friend of mine says to me, this is my cousin, close friend of mine, she says to me, you don't give yourself enough credit that you deserve. You do so much. You do so much work on yourself. You do so much that sometimes people don't realize, but give yourself more credit. And it
Mm.
hits me like, wow. Cause you could be so caught up in, I gotta do this, I gotta get this done, but it's
Yeah.
sit back, sometimes be in gratitude for what you have accomplished, and when you maybe wake up one day and you don't feel like doing something, you don't feel like showing up as your 100% self or whatnot, say, you know what, it's okay. You wake up, you feel, I'm really exhausted today. It's a day off and I get to lay in bed a bit longer than usual.
Mm.
Sometimes I felt guilty. Like, why do you feel guilty? You work so hard and then
Right.
you get a day off and then you're resting and you're watching your favorite TV show or something. Do not feel guilty for that. It does that, and I have to remind myself that. And it's just, you get to enjoy the other things you love to do. So, like,
Mm.
one thing I do love to do, I do love to have like a glass of wine in bed or two depending. But I like to relax, or I like having tea, or I love binge watching shows, whether older shows or a new show, finding those things that calm you. And then I'm really also into podcasts, whether it's a podcast from like you're listening to a podcast or you're watching one on YouTube, because there are podcasts on YouTube as well too. They're very encouraging. Listen to
Yeah.
encouraging words from people.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I'll just say really give yourself some grace, and celebrate yourself. We have to celebrate ourselves more, our victories, the things that we've accomplished,
Yeah.
bask in the now and not move on so quickly to, okay, what's next. So, yeah.
So kind of like that, being in the present a little bit. And it's
Mhm.
true. Sometimes I know I do. I feel like guilty if I'm resting because there is that to-do list. But then if
Mhm.
we don't rest, how are we going to get the to-do list done? It's never going to happen. We're going to burn out. So yeah, that is important. That grace. I agree. So now the really fun part, if someone is getting together with a photographer, a stylist, a makeup artist, they're wanting to do a photo shoot either for headshots, just for a LinkedIn profile photo, or they're just doing, a fashion shoot or something, maybe it's their birthday. and they want to celebrate, what are some of your styling tips? A couple of your top styling tips to help someone get ready for a photo shoot.
Okay, styling tips. First and foremost, you're doing a photo shoot. I think it's a really good idea to actually come up with a mood board. Gather some pictures from Pinterest, from Google. I like to go on Pinterest a lot, create boards.
Mm.
I've been excessive in creating boards, and making them private, but creating boards of what's the mood that you're going for. You want to incorporate what's your favorite color, the colors that look best on you. You
Mm,
want to feel really good in the shoot. So, you know, wear colors that make you happy,
yeah.
that look the best on you. Also, um, tell your friends or tell important people to you, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to go do this photo shoot for my birthday or whatnot. You want people to encourage you. You want that encouragement as well too. And I would say when coming to putting together looks for yourself, just be true to yourself and your style. Don't try to look at other celebrities and what they're doing, what they're wearing, what the trends are. Like, I'm really not big on trends, and I'm not big on trends. I'm more the classic kind of gal. And I think understanding your style and just staying true to that, wear what feels good, wear what feels good. And when it feels good, I feel like you'll look good
Yeah.
at that. And yeah, just keep a positive mind. And yeah, there's some tips that I think could go a long way.
Yeah, I think a lot of what you shared has to do with mindset, and I do that for my photography clients before they book a session. Like, I share like a guide with them to help them prepare, not just the physical part of it, like choosing the colors or whatever, but like actually preparing their mind to be comfortable, in front of the camera. But I think that is not good when someone's wearing something that doesn't fit them comfortably. Like,
Mhm.
physically, they're trying to squeeze themselves into something or whatever. And then it's so true. If you're, like a maxi dress type of person, but you think, you should be in a short skirt because like everyone for the past 6 months has been sharing short
Mhm.
skirt photos, then you're not going to be comfortable when you get in front of the camera, and you're not going to enjoy or have fun. It's important
Yeah, absolutely.
for self.
And don't try to, I would say, don't try to be someone that don't try to be someone you're not. So if your style is not sexy, you don't have to do sexy in the way that people are doing sexy. You can really, and that's the thing, you can look sexy like in many different ways.
Yes.
You don't have to be super revealing. And and if your style is you like to reveal, certain things, that's okay too.
Right.
But it's all about just being true to your style. Not follow what everybody else is doing, because when you are true to your style and you do what you do best, like, people will see it, and I feel like you will shine, your personality will shine through.
Yeah. Yes, because you're comfortable in your
Mhm.
skin, in your outfit, and so that beauty is going to naturally come out. Oh, it goes back to what you first said earlier. I love it. Full circle.
Full circle moment.
Yes. So share with the world how they can get in touch with you if they would like your styling services. How can they connect?
So I have two Instagram profiles. The first one is my personal page. It's underscore Carrie J underscore. So that's underscore KERIJ underscore. And so that one, you'll see a lot more like my personal life. I have my YouTube channel. Um, and you'll see like styling videos on there, whatnot. And my other page, I am rebranding right now and rebuilding, which is my business page. It's Carissa, what's it? Carissa Abraham Design Studio. So that is KERISSA Design Studio. And that profile is going to be the page where I'll be doing, you'll see fashion styling, fashion design, and interior design. I'm slowly like implementing them in a way, and I'm crafting the brand in a way that it can all make sense together and not be so overwhelming.
Right.
But yeah, I'm actually looking to create an Etsy shop soon because I am designing some throw pillows. And yeah, so this is where the interior design is starting to come out. My sewing skills are being utilized here. So yeah, I'm really slowly building the brand. And I will keep people posted on Etsy shop and whatnot.
I might need a new throw pillow.
Yeah, and it's gonna, right now what I'm really gonna be doing is like limited runs.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna have very limited material. I'm gonna do a certain amount of pillows. It's gonna be made to order.
Mm-hmm.
And when that's that of that style or that material, that's that, and we move on to the next, or so it's gonna have some options for people. And it's all really about, I love how it's just so beautiful how it started from fashion, clothes on the body, to now I'm coming into people's homes. This is what I'm really doing. Like, I want to really inspire other people to create a space even in their homes that make them feel inspired. And I'm really looking to focus especially a lot on creatives who are maybe like looking to build a brand image, and they really need design direction or styling help. I'm really about not just doing maybe a one-off, but like if you're looking to really create a brand and build an image, like I'm here for you. Fashion and interior design, like I'm here for you. It's possible. You could like have it correlate from the clothes you wear to your own space, and that's what I'm looking to create.
Yes. Our environment really does impact our mental health, though. If we're living in a mess, or if we're living in a situation that doesn't feel comfortable or we don't enjoy being in, that does actually pull us down, even if we're trying to, keep our mind positive, or, we're doing that self work. Still, the environment around us. I was in an Airbnb for a while. It was like 2 weeks, and just the environment, it was cheap, right? It was like the perfect price, but the environment was so drab. I was getting depressed. I was like, I can't have this. So, even though the guy was really nice and it was a good deal, I haven't, I did like a couple weeks there, but the environment is so important. We really need, to have
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
comfortable space to be.
Even if it's just your living room, your bedroom, or like a workspace area that you need to designate to be creative or do what you need to do. Like, I feel it's really important to invest in that. And I really feel your space, whatever space it is, needs to feel therapeutic.
Yes.
I'm really about creating therapeutic spaces.
Yeah.
For people.
Yes, I love it. So people are going to be comfortable with themselves and in their homes. You're going to hook them all up. I love it. Yes.
I'm going to hook them all the way up. Every aspect of their life.
Yes. So are there any last words you would like to share, or any last thoughts before we wrap?
I will say this. You never know who you're really inspiring, so keep being an inspiration. Because why I say that is it was last year, a year ago, I was asked to speak at a school to elementary school kids. And I got to speak a bit about, fashion design and what's my process. I was able to bring in fabric swatches for them, and the kids really loved it. I was nervous at first to do it. I was like, are the kids gonna like me? Are they like, but the kids end up really loving it. They love it. They love the pieces that I brought in to show them. They love what I was, what I spoke about. And this one girl said to me, she's like, "You're such an inspiration." I was like, that touched my heart, because I'm like, I'm not accustomed to being around kids in this capacity. And it really made me see, wow, like, this is beautiful. Of like, this is where extracurricular activities and whatnot is so important for kids, and for them to see that, you know, fashion design, interior design, being um let's say a painter, or an illustrator, whatnot, is possible. You could create a career out of it. And I think, that kids need to be supported more. I didn't always think that something I could be in a creative field and thrive, and make a living off of it. And as I'm older now, I see it's so possible. And I just want to really continue to inspire younger people, the generation after me that's coming up, to have big dreams, and they don't maybe want those, typical 9 to 5 jobs or whatnot, or they want encouragement around, being a makeup artist or whatnot. And the kids, and then I went to high school. I was asked, because of that experience, because I posted that on social media, somebody else asked me to come speak at a high school, but it was more like a casual setting of, it was like a career day. And they were like, the kids were going around to different tables, and they came over to my table, and they had a bunch of questions for me, and they were just, yeah. And I remember this one guy in particular talked about how he really wanted a career in video gaming. And I was like, wow, honestly, there is a space for that. You can have a whole career out of that. And then these other girls were telling me, like, oh, I want to be a makeup artist, but I'm not really, like, my parents don't really encourage me around that. And I'm like, it's really sad. And I get it. I get it, because I was there before, where I was told fashion is not a real career to get into. It's just going to be a hobby. But the older I've gotten, I've seen that this is not a plaything. This comes out from within me. Like, I can't just get rid of it. Like, there's a serious passion there, a love there, for style and design. And we need to see more of that. And so for younger people, and for people around our age or older people who want to finally get into something creative or whatnot that they always wanted to,
Yeah.
like, I think we should encourage each other, whether it's, I always said maybe one day I'll do some mentorship program or something, you know, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm all for, telling people it's possible,
Mm-hmm.
and that life is not, it's not a straight path at all. And you really never know where you'll end up, but where you end up is where you're really supposed to be. So
Yeah.
that's what I would really say.
Awesome. Thank you for the encouragement. So that's beautiful. And yeah, the kids always appreciate when people come in and speak with them, because I'm also a teacher. So yeah, they love it. They love seeing people from outside of a building that they're in,
Hmm.
taking time to come and teach them. Yeah. So
Yeah.
awesome. Awesomeness. So just to wrap up, people can find you on your personal page at underscore Kerij, Kerij underscore.
Hmm.
And then they can also find you on IG for your professional designer page that you're rebranding at Carissa Abram.
Carissa Abraham Design Studio.
Oh, design studio.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let me get that fixed a little bit.
Yeah, so
Alright.
that's KERISSAABRAHAM Design Studio.
Cool. Nice. All right. So thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
No
And have a
problem. I had a
wonderful
blast.
evening. Yes, it was fun. It was so much fun. So thank you.